let's go to someone who's obviously handling it very well, Mark Levin, who apparently is farting on Trump's jaw, and Trump doesn't like it very much. This is a weird, like him I'm up on the desk, Mr. Producer. Hey, Mr. Producer, and roll it. You want to go, maybe you got a colon, something. Get feral gas.
Feral gas. Fuel life simply.
The great one, as he is known from our friend Sean Hannity.
Yeah, no one else calls him that. Excellent to point that out.
Mark Levin joins us live. Mark, good morning to you.
We all have diarrhea, so if you don't mind rambling for a few minutes like you do for Sean, we're all going to take a shit together. It's a Fox and Friends fecal fun day.
Good morning.
I got two questions.
Good morning. I don't normally do morning shows like this. Deucey, God damn it. Why'd you have to bring me in?
For you to start with, and I know you've got some comments prepared, but number one.
Really?
Do you think this will be televised if Donald Trump does go on trial in New York, because they don't necessarily have courtroom cameras? And also,
you don't necessarily.
Do you think the former president will take the stand in his defense?
Don't ask him questions like that. He had prepared statements. He doesn't improv well.
You know, Steve, here's the deal.
Here's the deal. Let me tell you this. Donald Trump is a man who, I'm going to take what you asked me and dovetail into the comments that I had already planned.
This isn't about the law.
No, of course not. If it was about the law, he'd have been arrested a long time ago.
This isn't about publicity. This isn't about a headshot and fingerprints and all the rest. People need to...
No, this is about him finally getting sent to a place where he can golf all he wants with just a little bit of KP duty and be left alone from his ratty kids who never come to visit anyway.
Understand, in my view, the broader picture here.
The broader picture, yes. And can we put up a picture of that broad he slept with right now, I think, Mr. Producer?
2 impeachments, a criminal investigation, 5 grand juries.
And a partridge in...
A phony case that nobody would ever bring against anybody.
Nobody would ever bring against anybody. It's a quadruple. It's a centuple. That's a positive.
Another phony investigation in Georgia over the word.
Yeah, everything's phony.
Find the votes. And then there are 2 phony investigations.
Over the word, find the votes. It must be hyphenated.
In Washington, D.C. over documents where we would never use a warrant and a SWAT team if it had been
there wasn't a SWAT
the Reagan administration, and I was chief of staff to Attorney General Meese. That never would have happened.
Right, because as fucked up as Iran-Contra was, and as criminal as it was, and as obviously in violation of American foreign policy and any sense of decency, when you get when you're manipulating the holding of hostages by the Iranians and the shipment of guns, of weapons to them in general, to win an election. It was pretty fucked up overall. And you're right. Back then, they wouldn't have thought about doing it. You know what the difference was? Reagan, with all of his bullshit, never told his followers to attack the goddamn Capitol when he lost his re-election bid.
Or to try and take January 6th and criminalize what is a purely political procedure under Article 2 of the Constitution.
No, you guys sent the criminals. That would be the criminalizing of it.
The bigger picture here is, as far as I am concerned, we have crossed the Rubicon.
Ooh, we're Rubiconing. The Rubik's Cubing, yes.
This is a tyranny now. Now, what?
Yeah, we live in a tyranny. They don't even bother to vote next time. I don't even know why you're thinking. So you're saying basically Trump is running to be the captain of a tyranny. I'm the captain.
What am I talking about?
It's anybody's guess, really, Mark.
We want to talk about the niceties of the law, the elements of the law. You can't prove that. It doesn't matter.
The law doesn't matter. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody had to say it.
The law here is dead.
The law here is dead, folks. You can shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue now. It's all bets are off. The law is dead. It doesn't matter. There really is no standard. Just Mark's leaving the studio right after Fox and Friends is going to go rob a bank.
They're not using the law. Bragg is not being motivated by the law.
No, what is he? Is he going to hold Trump for ransom?
Neither are any of these Soros prosecutors. They tell you every day what they're up to.
And by the way, is his eye just like glued shut? Is the left eye glued shut? Or does he have like, did he get mono from Jimmy Dore?
We're up to not following the law. When you have a president of the United States and Joe Biden who says over and over and over again that Donald Trump and his supporters are a threat to democracy, he's sending a signal out there.
Yes, he's sending a signal that Donald Trump and his supporters are a threat to democracy. Because they are. But of course, not all of them. He does make that category. I mean, I would probably part ways with him, you know, and be a little less selective than Biden likes to be. But yeah.
To his mob. He's sending a signal out there to the
No, to the mob. I didn't realize we were part of a mob. Congratulations. You're in the mob now. You're a made. Well, congratulations, chat room. You're all made people now.
That's good. No. And one of these days I'll ask a favor of you, and you'll do this favor for me. Mostly it'll just be like, have a good day. It's not much of a favor. I don't ask a lot.
Democrats in Congress. He's sending a signal out there to their prosecutors, and they've heard him. Pelosi has said the same thing. Schumer said the same thing. The media have said the same thing.
So why did Biden have to say it if everybody's saying it already? I mean, it's just kind of gilding the lily.
They've compared Trump to Hitler and to other horrific figures in the historic past.
Absolutely. The Hamburglar and Grimace sort of fused together. You know what I mean? They've Jeffrey Epstein, but that only because they used to party together.
And so Bragg and the others look at their job as taking this guy out. The media have said the same thing. We have to put impartiality and objectivity aside. That cannot be our pursuit anymore. This man is a fundamental existential threat to the country. Therefore,
well, that would be an objective opinion on their part. They would look at the facts and go, normally we would both sides the fuck out of this, especially at CNN. But it's starting to get really. It's like a huge it's a dead giveaway. Like people are starting to catch on that we can't both sides this motherfucker forever.
We must take him out. And then when you take the environment in which the Democrat Party is operating,
largely oxygen, nitrogen, and a few other greenhouse gases, and what are you talking about?
Which is putting together phony legal memos to go after parents at school board meetings.
You mean the ones that call in death threats and threaten to murder the vice principal and that kind of stuff? But please go on. By the way, how many of these people have actually been arrested? How many of these people have actually gone to jail? How many of these people have actually been, quote unquote, targeted?
Using SWAT teams to go after a preacher who
assaulted someone in front of an abortion clinic physically
was.
And by the way, touts how many guns they have on social media.
Protesting at an abortion clinic.
Yeah, he's just protesting. Push protest. It was a push protest.
Where the local DA wouldn't take the case and nobody would take the case. And they.
But then, of course, a lot of times, they'll when you have sympathetic locals who won't do anything about something and someone's civil rights have been violated, that's when the federal government does step in. And you guys are still chafing about that school shit back in the 60s.
Bring a federal case against the man, and he's found innocent in 2 days. I can go down the list. They've prosecuted 1,000 people already, January 6th.
Yeah, they still got about 1,000 more. But
U.S. attorney who will not prosecute local crimes lets 70%.
Yeah, but it's really interesting. He uses Postmates to decide what qualifies as local.
The local crimes pass, won't take them. Says there's 1,000 more people to go after. This is a war on the Republican Party. They want to change the voting system. They want to pack the Supreme Court. They want to.
All right. Maybe, just maybe, help me out here, that maybe Trump's just a fucking scumbag. And he told you he was a fucking scumbag. And he stayed the same fucking scumbag this whole time. Maybe. And maybe it wouldn't be as obvious and grotesque to watch you guys like kowtow to him if you hadn't sold all this bullshit about conservatism and family values for fucking decades, and even national security. When you're letting his defense of Putin go, his Xi Jinping is handling this very professionally because he wants to get his goddamn trade deal done while his daughter's getting trademarks and he's getting money flooded into his fucking bank account over there. Maybe maybe we wouldn't be so irate about this if you guys didn't just try to get a suntan from his asshole all the time, considering the other lies you constantly tell about what you supposedly believe.
Pack the Senate. The borders are wide open to change the demographics of the country.
Yeah, like these are his talking points. It's just run over the run-of-the-mill gripes and talking points of Republicans over the last little bit. And Fox, how long before, when does this shit go on? And then they're all going to take a shit, and then they all come back about 3 minutes from now. He just yammers like this, and then they all come back to him. Yeah, 7 whole fucking minutes of this shit. What do they ask him? Hold on.
Ideas.
And they're
period.
losing.
They
And
don't
by the
want the
way-
competition from the Republican Party.
Yeah, they're sick of all the masterful bill writing and the budgets that they're getting from the Republicans. They're scared of it.
Conservatives. That is what's going on.
Mark, right now, the Fox News poll on Tuesday has Trump up by 30 points on Ron DeSantis, and this will probably only foster it. Let me ask you something. You
You sure they're not going to adopt it?
interviewed the president yesterday, I understand, before the indictment came down. How would you describe his demeanor?
Well, he hadn't found out yet, so he was okay. He was slightly less mad.
And I went back afterwards because I was invited to dinner. This is a remarkable man. I mean, would you be able to eat after you were charged like this with a phony prosecutor?
Yes, I would. Because I would know I was innocent.
He was.
Or I would be such a sociopathic asshole that I don't care, or I comfort myself with food. There's a multitude of reasons why you could still eat.
Very congenial.
And by the way, fish delights are magnificent no matter when you have them.
He was very strong. He was there with the former first
Did they do a jump or did Hal? I did a jump just to their conversation because we know what he's gonna fucking
lady.
say.
And his son was there, Don Jr., and they couldn't have been. This is a real family. This is a very close family. If you saw the president and Melania together, they are tight as can be. They are
They couldn't take their hands off
strong
each
as
other.
can be. He's a very decent man.
Consider the source is what my mother would say about this
He
conversation.
cares so deeply about the country. You walk around Mar-a-Lago or you look outside and you think to yourself, this man doesn't need any of this.
Yes, he does. He thinks it's the only thing that'll keep him out of jail.
All he has to do is say, I'm not running anymore. I give up. He won't give up. He's
Yeah, and this honest to God, does Mark Levin actually fucking think that if Trump said, I'm not running anymore, that they would go, okay, no more, okay, call it off. We're not, he can keep the classified documents. We forgive him about Georgia. Fuck the whole campaign finance and the business fraud in New York. We're going to let Weisselberg out of prison. Does he actually think that's how it would go? You out of your fucking mind? The only reason he started this goddamn campaign early is because he thought it was his way out.
not going to back down to this stuff. And so his supporters and the rest of the American people need to understand that this is a unique man at a unique time in our history, that
Yes, he's one of the few orange human beings that
this
exist.
country is in very, very grave danger when the law is being used this way against political opponents, a Republican Party, people who have different views at school board meetings and who are opposed to abortion. And it's even worse.
No, there are a lot of people who are opposed to abortion. There are a lot of angry parents who've said shit over the years at school board meetings. And it's interesting that the only ones that are catching shit or getting a visit from the cops are the ones who call in bomb threats, threaten to murder someone, or physically have altercations that violate someone's civil rights at a place because after Tiller got shot, they don't play that shit anymore.
Worse than that, the efforts by the Biden administration to censor free speech.
You mean when they were a campaign and not an administration, and Trump had an administration, was the president, and did the same thing, and yet threatened to use the power of the government if Twitter didn't do what he said? Get the fuck out of here. Okay, so this is the fallback. Okay, so I think he's got the, I think Mike Pillow has kind of the bronze right now. We'll see if Levin stays in the running.